Taurus. There's something inside you that others can't explain, something that's made you different since childhood. You've always felt a strange connection with plants, as if they whispered secrets only you could hear. Your hands seem to have a special power. Dying flowers come back to life when you touch them. People feel inexplicably good in your presence, as if you emanate a healing energy that even you yourself don't fully understand. But along with these gifts came fears you could never explain. A deep, irrational dread of being judged, persecuted, rejected, as if deep within your soul resided an ancient memory of times when people like you were hunted, tortured, burned alive for possessing precisely the abilities you possess. You've always felt the need to hide this part of yourself, haven't you? As if showing your true gifts were dangerous, even living in a time where it makes no rational sense. What I'm about to reveal will explain everything. It will show you why you were born with this special sensitivity to energies, why you can sense things others can't, why plants and animals respond to your presence differently, and most importantly, it will explain where this ancestral fear you carry within you comes from. If you were born between April 28th and May 6th, or between May 14th and 18th, your chances of having been a witch or wizard in a past life are extremely high. But before I continue, I need you to understand that I'm talking about real witchcraft, not the scary caricatures Hollywood has created, but the ancient wisdom of working with the forces of nature to heal, protect, and harmonize. I'm talking about the wise men and women who knew the secrets of medicinal plants, who could read energies, who served as a bridge between the material and spiritual worlds in their communities. You were one of those people, and the soul never forgets. Even if your conscious mind doesn't have clear memories, your spirit carries the marks, the gifts, the traumas of those lives. That's why you've always felt different. That's why people naturally seek you out when they're suffering. That's why you have an innate ability to soothe, heal, and harmonize situations and the people around you. For centuries, people like you were systematically persecuted. The Inquisition didn't just hunt random women, it specifically hunted those with natural healing gifts, keen intuition, and knowledge of plants and energies. It hunted people who had exactly the characteristics you recognize in yourself today. And often, these people were tortured until they confessed to crimes they never committed, simply because they possessed abilities that threatened the established power of the time. If you carry the soul of a witch or wizard from a past life, you likely suffered a traumatic death related to persecution. Perhaps you were burned at the stake. Perhaps you were drowned during witchcraft trials. Perhaps you were tortured to death in dark dungeons. These experiences left deep scars on your soul, ancestral fears that manifest today as inexplicable anxiety, claustrophobia, fear of crowds, and the dread of being judged or rejected. Have you ever noticed that you have an instinctive aversion to situations where you feel you might be attacked or persecuted? Have you noticed that you prefer natural environments, places where you can be alone with plants and animals, away from human judgment? This isn't ordinary shyness, it's cellular memories of lives where you had to hide to survive, where showing your gifts meant certain death. But here's the powerful truth I need to share. You didn't come into this life to continue hiding. You came to reclaim and use your gifts in a time when it's finally safe to do so. You came to heal not only others, but also the ancient wounds your own soul carries. Every time you use your natural gifts without fear, you are healing thousands of years of collective trauma. Taurus, your hands aren't just hands. They're healing instruments that carry memories of lifetimes dedicated to alleviating human suffering. Your intuition isn't just intuition. It's wisdom accumulated through multiple lifetimes of observing, learning, and connecting with the mysteries of life. Your connection with plants isn't just a love of nature. It's a deep understanding of their healing and energetic properties developed over centuries of practice. If you were born between April 28th and May 6th, your past lives are specifically connected to the art of healing through touch and energy. You were likely a healer, someone who could ease physical and emotional pain simply by laying on hands. You may have been a midwife who helped women give birth, using not only medical knowledge, but also intuitive gifts to ensure safe deliveries. Or perhaps you were an herbalist who knew exactly which plants to use for each ailment. For those born between May 14th and 18th, your past life abilities were more connected to the ability to read energies and predict events. You were an oracle, someone people looked to for guidance about the future. You had visions, prophetic dreams, and could sense when something important was about to happen. You were respected and feared for your ability to see beyond the veil of material reality. Regardless of the specific dates, if you identify with what I'm describing, you carry within you a powerful spiritual lineage. You weren't born with these gifts by chance. They were developed and refined through multiple lifetimes dedicated to the service of healing and wisdom. And now is the time to honor this heritage, even if it means confronting ancestral fears that seem irrational to your modern mind. Stop for a moment and feel this inside your chest. Do you recognize these sensations I'm describing? Have you ever felt that your hands have a special power? What plants respond differently when you approach them? What people calm down in your presence without you consciously doing anything? If you're feeling chills right now, if something is stirring in your heart as you listen to this, I need you to do something for me and for all the other people going through the same discovery. Go to the comments and write exactly this. My hands have always been different, and now I understand why. You don't need to explain anything else. You don't need to expose your life. But I need you to do this because there are hundreds of other souls like you watching this video right now, feeling alone, thinking they're strange, afraid to embrace their gifts. When you write this comment, you're telling them that they're not alone, that there's an entire spiritual family that understands exactly what they're going through. You've spent so much time feeling different, hiding, downplaying your abilities. You've suffered so much thinking you were weird, too sensitive, that you noticed things no one else did. Today, I'm here to tell you that you're not weird. You're special. You're not overly sensitive. You're naturally attuned to energies most people have lost the ability to perceive. Share that. Leave your mark. Help others feel welcomed and understood too. The tragedy of the witch hunt wasn't just the physical death of thousands of innocent people. It was the violent interruption of an ancient tradition of knowledge about natural healing, about connecting with the earth, and about the responsible use of subtle energies for collective well-being. When these people were systematically eliminated, humanity lost precious wisdom that took centuries to begin to recover. But souls don't die. And true knowledge cannot be permanently destroyed. People like you are reincarnating at this particular time because the time has come to bring this wisdom back to the world. Not in the shadows, not in fear, but openly, with pride, as a valuable contribution to the healing of the planet and humanity. Have you ever noticed that you have a natural ability to know exactly what people need to hear when they're hurting? That you can sense when someone is struggling, even when they're trying to hide it, that animals and small children are naturally drawn to you. These are clear signs that you carry the soul of someone who has dedicated entire lives to caring for and healing others. But perhaps the strongest sign is how you relate to plants. It's not just that you enjoy gardening or have green fingers, it's something deeper. You can sense when a plant is sick before symptoms appear visually. You can intuit which plants can help with which problems. You might even talk to your plants and feel them respond to your presence. This happens because in past lives, you spent decades learning about the medicinal and energetic properties of plants. You developed a subtle connection with the plant kingdom that transcends human language. Your hands learned to feel the energies of plants. Your heart learned to listen to them, and your soul learned to work in partnership with them to create healing and well-being. If you have an allergy or sensitivity to iron, this is another powerful sign. During the witch hunt, iron instruments were specifically used to torture and kill people with spiritual gifts because it was believed that iron interfered with magical abilities. Many souls who went through these traumatic experiences maintain a cellular rejection of iron to this day. Similarly, if you have an inexplicable fear of water, especially being submerged, it may be a memory of dying in witch trials, where women were tied up and thrown into the water. If they sank and died, they were declared innocent. If they managed to float and survive, they were declared guilty and executed in other ways. It was a systematic persecution disguised as justice. Taurus, another powerful sign of past lives linked to witchcraft, is your special relationship with animals. You've probably always had this ability to calm frightened animals, to make injured or sick animals feel safe in your presence. In past lives, you worked closely with animals not only as companions, but as spiritual partners who helped you channel healing energies. The concept of a familiar, a spirit animal that worked alongside witches and warlocks, wasn't fantasy. It was a real practice where spiritually sensitive people developed deep partnerships with animals that served as amplifiers and channels of energy. If you've always felt more comfortable with animals than humans, if they seem to understand you in a special way, it's very likely that you've had such partnerships in past lives. Your dreams also hold important clues. If you have recurring dreams about medieval situations, bonfires, hostile crowds, or persecution, these may be fragments of memories from past lives. These dreams are often accompanied by a sense of terror that seems disproportionate to what's happening in the dream, because your soul is reliving real traumas experienced in other times. But not all memories are traumatic. If you dream of medicinal herb gardens, cabins in the woods, circles of people gathering for healing rituals, or moonlit ceremonies, these are echoes of joyful and powerful moments in your life as a practitioner of natural healing arts. A very specific characteristic of souls who were witches or wizards is a special sensitivity to the phases of the moon. You've probably noticed that your energy, mood, and even your ability to manifest things change according to the lunar cycles. This is no coincidence. In past lives, you learned to consciously work with these energies, using the different moments of the lunar cycle for different types of rituals and healing practices. The new moon was used for new beginnings, for planting, for setting intentions. The waxing moon was for growth, expansion, and manifestation. The full moon was the moment of greatest power, used for more intense healing and more powerful rituals. The waning moon was for cleansing, releasing, and removing negative energies. Your body and soul still respond to these cycles because they have been conditioned through multiple lifetimes of conscious practice. Taurus, if you've always been drawn to crystals, stones, and precious metals, this is also connected to your past lives. Witches and warlocks were profoundly knowledgeable about the energetic properties of minerals. They used different stones for different healing and protection purposes. Your hands can still feel the specific vibrations of different crystals because you've developed this sensitivity over centuries of working with them. You may notice that certain stones immediately catch your attention when you see them, as if they're whispering your name. Others may cause discomfort or even physical repulsion. This happens because your soul recognizes the energies and has specific memories, positive or negative, associated with different types of minerals. Obsidian, for example, might make you uncomfortable if you have memories of being injured by stone blades. But at the same time, you might feel naturally drawn to rose quartz or amethyst because these were crystals you often used for emotional healing and spiritual protection. Your relationship with fire also carries profound meanings. If you have an irrational fear of fire, especially bonfires or large flames, you may be carrying traumatic memories of being burned to death. But if you feel strangely comfortable and powerful around fire, it may be because in past lives you used the element of fire sacredly, for purification, for rituals, to channel transformative energy. Many witches and wizards worked as healers in their communities, using not only medicinal plants, but also energetic techniques that today we would call Reiki, laying on of hands, and auric cleansing. If you've always felt a natural attraction to these practices, if your hands tingle when you place them near people who are suffering, you're accessing abilities you already mastered in other lives. Knowledge isn't lost. It lies dormant in the soul, waiting for the right conditions to awaken again. This is why some people learn certain spiritual skills with an ease that surprises even themselves. They're not learning something new, they're remembering something they already knew. Taurus, there's a specific reason why souls like yours are reincarnating en masse at this time. The world is undergoing a profound transformation, and there's an urgent need for people who can serve as channels of healing, as bridges between the material and spiritual worlds, as guardians of ancient wisdom about how to live in harmony with natural forces. The same qualities that caused you to be persecuted in past lives, your sensitivity, your connection to subtle energies, your ability to heal and harmonize, are exactly the qualities the world needs now. But this time, you don't need to hide. This time, you have the right and the responsibility to shine fully. The ancestral trauma you carry isn't just yours, it's collective. When you heal yourself, you're healing a wound that affects all of humanity. When you allow yourself to use your gifts without fear, you're paving the way for thousands of others to feel safe, awakening their own dormant abilities. You've spent too long hiding, diminishing yourself, denying your gifts for fear of judgment. You've spent too long carrying ancestral guilt over precious and sacred abilities. The time has come to honor your spiritual lineage, to take pride in the knowledge your soul carries, to use your gifts to contribute positively to the world. The people around you may not fully understand what you do or how you do it, but they will feel the benefits. They will feel calmer in your presence, more healed when you offer help, more hopeful when you share your wisdom. And that's all that matters. Not that they understand the mechanics of your gifts, but that they benefit from them. Taurus, if you were born on the dates I mentioned and deeply identify with what I've shared, your soul is asking you to stop denying your true nature. It's asking you to embrace the gifts you've brought from other lives, heal the ancestral traumas you carry, and use your innate wisdom to serve the greater good. You don't have to become a witch or wizard in traditional terms. You already are. You always have been. You just need to stop hiding it from yourself and the world. You need to start honoring your intuitions, trusting your feelings, using your hands to heal, your voice to soothe, your presence to harmonize. The world doesn't need another person trying to be normal when they're extraordinary. The world needs you being completely, authentically, powerfully you, with all your gifts, all your sensitivity, all your ancient wisdom, not hidden, not diminished, but shining as the light you were always meant to be. If this revelation touched your heart, if you recognized your own story in what I shared, don't let that feeling pass you by. Share it in the comments using the phrase I suggested. Connect with other souls going through the same awakening, and most importantly, commit to honoring your gifts from this day forward. Subscribe to the channel, because your revelation about past lives is just the beginning of a much deeper rediscovery of who you truly are and what your purpose is in this incarnation. You'll need guidance on how to develop your gifts, how to protect yourself energetically, and how to use your abilities ethically and effectively. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any guidance that can accelerate your awakening process. You are not alone in this discovery. There is an entire spiritual family of souls who share the same lineage, the same gifts, the same challenges. Together, you are bringing back to the world a wisdom that has been dormant for too long. It is time to fully awaken and assume the sacred role you were born to fulfill in this life.